The hardest thing I've learned in life isn't how to keep going, it's how to sit still. And no one teaches you that until you're already tired. I'm speaking to you as someone who spent decades doing, working, fixing, providing, carrying responsibility. Even when I finally had time, I didn't know what to do with it. So I filled it. Noise, screens, plans. Sitting still felt wrong, like I wasn't earning my place anymore. For most of my life, I believed my value came from being useful, from showing up early, staying late, solving problems before anyone asked. That belief followed me through my career, my family life, even into the years when things were supposed to slow down. Retirement, they said, would feel like freedom, but no one told me how uncomfortable freedom can be when you've spent a lifetime measuring yourself by effort. When the calendar finally opened up, the quiet felt louder than any busy day ever had. Without deadlines, my mind raced. Without responsibility, I felt uneasy. I'd wake up early out of habit, only to realize there was nowhere I needed to be. And instead of enjoying that, I reached for distractions. The television stayed on. My phone rarely left my hand. I filled every empty moment, afraid that stillness meant I was fading. It took me a long time to admit this, but I wasn't tired from doing too much anymore. I was tired from not knowing who I was without the doing. One ordinary afternoon, nothing special on the surface, I sat alone at the kitchen table. The house was quiet, no emails waiting, no calls to return, just light coming through the window and a cup of coffee slowly going cold. I felt the familiar urge to stand up, to find something productive, but instead, I stayed. And for the first time, I noticed how tense my body still was, shoulders tight, jaw clenched, even though there was nothing to fix. That's when it hit me. My life had been loud for so long that silence felt threatening. In Japan, there's a deep respect for quiet, especially as people age. Silence isn't seen as emptiness, it's seen as space, space to reflect, to observe, to simply exist without explanation. Elders sit without rushing conversation. They move slowly, deliberately, not because they can't move faster, but because they've learned there's no need to. I began to understand something important. Peace doesn't come automatically with age. It comes with permission. Permission to stop proving. Permission to rest without guilt. Permission to let time pass without filling it. Many of us in our 40s, 50s, and beyond are carrying invisible weight, years of expectations, roles we played so well that we forgot they were roles: provider, protector, caregiver, problem solver. And when those roles loosen, we feel lost. The world doesn't talk much about that part of aging. But there's nothing wrong with you if you feel this way. You didn't fail at slowing down. You were just never taught how. I started small. I stopped turning on background noise just to avoid my thoughts. I took walks without headphones. I let mornings unfold without a schedule. At first, it was uncomfortable. My mind searched for tasks like an old habit looking for a fix. But slowly, the noise softened. I noticed things I'd been missing for years: the way light changes throughout the day, the comfort of simple routines, the relief of not needing to rush. I realized I wasn't disappearing in the quiet. I was finally meeting myself again. If you're listening to this and life feels loud, even when it's supposed to be calm, I want you to hear this clearly. You are not broken. You are transitioning from a life built on effort to a life built on presence. You don't need to fill every moment to deserve your place in the world. You've already earned it. A peaceful life after 40 isn't about doing nothing. It's about doing less of what drains you and more of what grounds you. It's about choosing simplicity over stimulation, depth over noise, meaning over momentum. So if sitting still feels uncomfortable right now, that's okay. Stay anyway. Let the discomfort pass. On the other side of it is something gentle, clarity, acceptance, and a quieter kind of strength. You don't need to hurry anymore. You don't need to prove anything. And maybe, for the first time in a long while, it's enough to simply be here. I noticed it in Japan. An older man sitting on a bench, not waiting, not scrolling, not thinking out loud, just sitting. At first, I thought he was bored. Then I realized he was at peace. In Japan, sitting still isn't laziness, it's a quiet skill. I didn't understand that for most of my life. I grew up believing that stillness meant wasting time. If you weren't moving, planning, improving, or producing something, you were falling behind. That idea followed me into adulthood, into my career, into my relationships. Even when I reached the age where life was supposed to slow down, my mind never did. Like many people in their 40s, 50s, and beyond, I carried a quiet exhaustion, not the kind that sleep fixes, but the kind that comes from decades of noise, deadlines, expectations, news cycles, conversations that never really ended. Even retirement, which many of us imagine as peaceful, often brings a different kind of restlessness. When the structure disappears, the noise inside becomes louder. That day in Japan stayed with me. I kept thinking about that man on the bench. No phone, no rush, no explanation. He wasn't trying to look calm, he simply was. And for the first time in a long while, I asked myself a question I had never seriously considered. When did I forget how to just sit? In the West, especially in America, we're taught to measure our worth by movement, by productivity, by how full our days look from the outside. But as we age, something changes. The body asks for gentleness, the mind asks for space, and the soul, if we're honest, asks for quiet. Japanese culture understands this in a way that feels almost foreign to us. Silence is not awkward there. Stillness is not judged. Elders are not expected to entertain or explain themselves. Sitting quietly is seen as a form of wisdom, a way of being without needing to perform. I tried it when I came home. At first, it felt uncomfortable. I would sit down and immediately feel the urge to reach for something, my phone, the remote, a thought about tomorrow. The mind doesn't like silence when it's been trained on noise for decades, but I stayed, just a few minutes at a time, sitting by a window, sitting on a chair after dinner, sitting without fixing anything. Slowly, something softened. I noticed how tense my shoulders had been, how shallow my breathing was, how often my thoughts rushed ahead without my permission. Stillness didn't solve my problems, but it changed my relationship with them. They no longer shouted, they waited. That's when I understood something important. Peace isn't something you chase later in life, it's something you practice, quietly, daily, without applause. For those of us between 40 and 70, life feels louder because we've accumulated more memories, more responsibilities, more losses, more questions about time. We carry not just our own noise, but the noise of everyone we've cared for. And the world doesn't slow down just because we're tired. But maybe we don't need the world to slow down. Maybe we do. The Japanese idea of stillness isn't about escaping life. It's about meeting it without resistance. Sitting still teaches you that nothing bad happens when you stop moving, that your value doesn't disappear when you're quiet, that time doesn't punish you for resting. I think many of us are afraid of stillness because it feels like facing ourselves without distraction. But what I've learned is this: the longer you avoid silence, the louder life becomes. And the moment you stop avoiding it, something gentle begins to return. If you're watching this and life feels too loud right now, let me offer you a simple thought. You don't need to fix everything. You don't need to reinvent yourself. You don't need to stay young, busy, or impressive. You only need moments where nothing is required of you. Sit on a bench. Sit at your kitchen table. Sit without a goal. Let the day pass by without trying to improve it. That older man in Japan wasn't doing nothing. He was practicing a skill many of us forgot, the skill of being here. As we age, peace doesn't come from adding more to our lives. It comes from learning what to gently set down. Stillness isn't the end of living. It's where living finally feels honest. And if this quiet moment meant something to you, know this: you're not alone. There are many of us learning, slowly, how to live with less noise and more truth. That's what Simple Earth Studio is here for. We're not here to rush you. We're here to sit with you. The Japanese don't always ask, "What should I do next?" Sometimes they ask, "Can I stay with this moment?" That question didn't make sense to me when I was younger. Back then, my life was measured in movement. If I wasn't doing something, planning something, or improving something, I felt uneasy, like I was wasting time, like I was falling behind an invisible line everyone else seemed to be chasing. Maybe you know that feeling too. I'm speaking to you now as someone who has lived long enough to feel tired in a deeper way. Not the kind of tired a good night's sleep can fix, but the kind that settles quietly in your chest. The kind that comes from years of hurrying, proving, carrying responsibility, and telling yourself you'll rest later. For most of my adult life, I believed sitting still meant giving up. If I slowed down, I thought life would pass me by. The world around us encourages that belief, especially in America. We're taught to move forward, stay productive, stay relevant. Even rest has to be earned. Even peace feels conditional. Wasn't until I learned about how the Japanese approach stillness that something inside me softened. In Japan, especially among elders, sitting still isn't seen as laziness, it's seen as wisdom. Stillness is not the absence of life, it's where life finally reveals itself. There's a deep respect for silence, not the awkward kind, but the kind that allows you to feel your own breathing again. I remember the first time I truly tried this. I sat down one afternoon with no agenda, no phone, no background noise, just a cup of tea cooling slowly in my hands. At first, my body resisted, my mind raced. Thoughts came flooding in, unfinished tasks, old regrets, things I should have done differently. And then something unexpected happened. I didn't push the thoughts away. I didn't judge them. I let them come and pass, just like the Japanese describe. Slowly, my shoulders dropped, my breathing deepened. For the first time in a long while, I wasn't trying to fix my life. I was simply allowing it to be. Sitting still means letting your body rest without guilt. That part is harder than it sounds. Many of us carry a quiet shame around rest, especially after 40 or 50. We tell ourselves we should be stronger, more disciplined, more active. But the truth is, your body remembers every year you've lived. It deserves kindness, not criticism. Sitting still also means letting thoughts come and pass. Not every thought needs an answer. Not every worry needs a solution right away. Japanese elders understand this deeply. They don't wrestle with the mind, they observe it, like watching clouds move across the sky. And maybe the most important lesson of all, sitting still means letting life be enough just as it is. That idea used to scare me. If life is enough, then who am I without the chasing, without the striving, without the noise? But over time, I realized something gentle and freeing. I didn't lose myself in the quiet. I found myself there. The Japanese don't rush to fill the silence. They respect it. Silence is treated like a guest, not an enemy. It's allowed to stay. It's trusted. And in that silence, there's room for honesty about aging, about loss, about gratitude, about what truly matters now. If you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, or beyond, and modern life feels louder than it used to, I want you to hear this clearly. There is nothing wrong with you. You're not weak, you're not failing, you're simply reaching a stage where noise no longer satisfies the soul. This phase of life isn't asking you to do more, it's asking you to notice more. Notice how your body feels when you slow down. Notice the calm that appears when you stop forcing happiness and allow peace instead. Notice how silence, once uncomfortable, can become a place of rest. You don't need to move to Japan to live this way. You can begin right where you are. Sit quietly for a few minutes each day. Let the world keep spinning without you for a moment. Let your breath lead instead of your schedule. There's a quiet dignity in choosing stillness, especially in a world that never stops shouting. And as we age, that dignity matters more than speed, more than achievement, more than approval. If this moment of reflection feels familiar, you're not alone. Many of us are quietly relearning what it means to live, not faster, not louder, but truer. And maybe the question we need to ask now isn't, what should I do next, but simply, can I stay with this moment just a little longer? When we're young, we ask ourselves, how far can I go? How much can I achieve? How fast can I move? How much can I become? But as the years pass, a quieter question begins to surface, one that doesn't shout for attention, yet refuses to go away. How deeply can I be here? I didn't understand that question until life slowed me down on its own. For most of my adult years, I believed motion was everything. If I kept moving, kept working, kept striving, then I was doing life right. Like many people in America, I tied my worth to productivity. Busy meant valuable, tired meant successful, rest felt like something to earn, not something to need. And so I kept going, even when my body asked me to stop, even when my mind felt crowded with noise. Somewhere after 40, the noise got louder, not just from the world, the news, the screens, the endless opinions, but from inside. Questions about time, purpose, regret. Thoughts that only show up when you've lived long enough to look back and forward at the same time. I would sit in a quiet room and still feel restless, as if stillness itself was unfamiliar. One afternoon, nothing special happened, no major event, no dramatic wake-up call. I simply sat down. No phone, no music, no agenda, just sitting. At first, it felt uncomfortable. My mind searched for something to do, something to fix. But slowly, the urge passed. And in that stillness, I noticed something I hadn't felt in years: presence. Sitting still teaches you something motion never will. Your worth is not tied to how fast you move. You are not more valuable when you're busy, and you are not falling behind when you slow down. The world may reward speed, but life rewards attention. As we age, our bodies naturally ask for a different pace, yet many of us fight it, afraid that slowing down means giving up. But what if slowing down is not the end of ambition, just the beginning of clarity? What if this stage of life isn't about chasing more, but about making room for what actually matters? I've learned that peace doesn't arrive the way success does. You don't chase it, track it, or win it. Peace arrives quietly when you create space for it. It shows up in small moments: a warm cup of coffee, a walk without direction, a room filled with natural light. These moments don't look impressive from the outside, but they feel deeply honest on the inside. In Japan, elders understand this well. Stillness is respected there. Silence isn't awkward, it's shared. Aging isn't treated as a loss of value, but as a deepening of presence. Watching that changed how I see my own life. I realized how much energy I spent trying to stay relevant when what I really needed was to stay grounded. Many people in their 40s, 50s, and beyond feel tired without knowing why. Retirement doesn't automatically bring peace, success doesn't guarantee calm, and happiness, as we once chased it, feels more fleeting than ever. But peace, real peace, isn't about excitement. It's about acceptance, acceptance of time, of change, of who you are right now. You don't need to become someone new to deserve peace. You don't need to fix your entire life. Often, the most powerful change is simply allowing yourself to stop for a moment, to breathe, to listen, to let life be as it is without trying to improve it. When you stop running, you notice how much you've been carrying: expectations, old roles, unspoken pressure to keep proving yourself. With age comes the opportunity to set some of that down, not because you failed, but because you've earned the right to live more gently. The truth is, aging isn't about losing time, it's about gaining depth. Depth in conversations, depth in quiet moments, depth in understanding what truly matters. The question is no longer how far you can go, but how fully you can arrive in the life you already have. So if you're listening to this and feeling worn down by the speed of modern life, know this: you're not behind, you're exactly where you're meant to be. Peace isn't something you chase across years and achievements. You make room for it, right here, right now, by choosing presence over pressure and stillness over constant motion. And sometimes, simply sitting still is enough. If you're watching this and feeling overwhelmed, try this just once today. Sit somewhere quiet. No phone, no agenda. 5 minutes. Let discomfort come. Don't fix it, because underneath that restlessness is a calm you forgot you had. I say this as someone who didn't always know how to be still. For most of my life, quiet felt uncomfortable. If there was silence, I filled it, with work, with noise, with plans for tomorrow or worries about yesterday. Like many of us, I thought staying busy meant staying useful, that slowing down meant falling behind, and for a long time that belief worked, until it didn't. Somewhere after 40, life started to feel louder. Not just the sounds around me, but the noise inside my head. Responsibilities piled up, time felt tighter. Even moments that were supposed to be peaceful came with a sense of urgency. I could sit down, but I couldn't rest. My body was there, but my mind kept running. No one really talks about this part of aging, how the world doesn't get quieter as we grow older. It gets faster. More opinions, more information, more pressure to stay relevant, productive, and young. And when you can't keep up the same way you once did, it's easy to think something is wrong with you. I remember one ordinary afternoon that changed something for me. Nothing dramatic happened, no big realization. I was just sitting alone at home, exhausted for reasons I couldn't explain. I turned everything off, the TV, the radio, the phone, and sat there. At first, the silence felt heavy. My thoughts grew louder. Regrets surfaced. Worries followed. Every instinct told me to distract myself again, but I stayed. And after a few minutes, something softened. The noise didn't disappear, but it loosened its grip. I noticed my breathing, the light in the room, the simple fact that I was still here, alive, safe, not required to solve anything in that moment. It was the first time in a while that life felt honest instead of demanding. As I got older, I began noticing how other cultures approach this stage of life differently. In Japan, silence isn't treated as emptiness. It's respected, especially among elders. Quiet moments aren't awkward, they're meaningful. Sitting without speaking isn't seen as wasting time, it's seen as being present. That idea stayed with me. What if peace doesn't come from fixing everything? What if it comes from allowing things to be, just for a while? Many of us between 40 and 70 carry invisible weight, years of responsibility, care for others, expectations we never questioned. Even in retirement, the mind doesn't automatically slow down. It keeps racing as if it doesn't know the workday is over. And when the noise becomes constant, we forget that peace isn't something we need to earn, it's something we return to. Here's what I've learned the hard way. A peaceful life isn't built by adding more habits, more goals, more improvements. It's built by removing what no longer serves us. Fewer distractions, fewer voices telling us who we should be, more quiet moments where nothing is required. That's why I invite you to try those 5 minutes today, not as a technique, not as self-improvement, just as an act of kindness toward yourself. Let the discomfort show up. Let your thoughts wander. Don't correct them. Don't judge them. Stay long enough to notice that beneath the restlessness, there's a steadiness that never really left. If you're in this season of life feeling overwhelmed, tired, or quietly searching for meaning, know this: you're not broken, you're not behind, you're simply being invited to live differently, more gently, more honestly. Sometimes the most important thing we can do, especially as we age, is to stop chasing peace and sit still long enough to remember it. In Japan, sitting still is not stopping life, it's finally arriving in it. I didn't understand that for most of my years. Like many of us, I believed movement meant progress. If I wasn't busy, I felt uneasy. If I wasn't achieving something, I felt behind. Life taught me to keep going, faster, louder, always reaching for what came next. And for a long time, I thought that was living. But as I grew older, something quietly changed. The body slowed before the mind was ready. The noise of the world felt heavier than it once did. And one ordinary afternoon, sitting alone with nothing urgent to do, I realized how rare that moment had become. I wasn't wasting time. I was finally present. I began learning from Japanese culture, especially from elders. There, sitting still is an art. They don't see it as laziness or giving up. They see it as respect for time, for breath, for life itself. A man can sit, watch the light shift, and feel complete. No explanation needed. I started practicing that kind of stillness, not escaping life, just meeting it where it is. Sitting without distraction, letting thoughts pass without chasing them. And slowly, peace stopped feeling like something far away. It became something simple, available, and honest. If you're in your 40s, 50s, or beyond, feeling worn down by the speed of modern life, maybe this quiet art is meant for you too. You don't need to do more. You don't need to become someone else. Aging isn't about holding on, it's about arriving. As we grow older, this quiet art may be the most important one we learn. If this story gave you a moment of calm, consider subscribing to Simple Earth Studio. We're not here to motivate you to do more. We're here to remind you, you already are enough.